It's finally here, ladies and gentlemen, and a whole season, day after day, week after week, month after month, we have waited, we have watched hockey, and we have wondered who would raise the cup. Well, we finally find out it's Nationals weekend, the Elite and Premier Nationals, and we've got our picks coming up next. What is going on, hockey fans? We just had too much work to do, too much to get ready for to do a live show this week. Because guess what? Friday night, Dan Kay and Lucas Jones are making a trek up to Massachusetts for a weekend-long showcase of the best talent the world of hockey has ever seen, the Elite and Premier USPHL. Lucas, we've got a lot of picks to do. How fun was it digging into these brackets?
Oh, it was incredible. I mean, we're both fantasy sports guys, right? We're both the kind of guys you go out and you just see a sports game, you talk about whatever it is. And so when I came over here, I'm trying to bounce ideas off of Dan. He's bouncing ideas off of me. We're trying to figure it out. You really get a sense of what these teams can do when you dive in.
You're going to get to dive in at home. You're going to get to have the same fun we had. You want to talk about fantasy sports? We've got a bit of a fantasy sport. We got a tournament pick'em, as you may say. March Madness is almost coming up. Well, this is our USPHL March Madness. You are going to get to pick along with the Dan K Show or pick against the Dan K Show. What I will tell you is if a fan at home can beat both Lucas and myself, we will be renting Lucas?
We're renting a dunk tank.
We're renting a dunk tank. Dan K did some research and found out that it's not too expensive to rent a dunk tank in the Wayne, New Jersey area. And guess who has a showcase in the Wayne, New Jersey area? The Jersey Hitmen at the Ice Vault Arena next year. So at that event, if a fan at home can beat Dan K and Lucas Jones, we will be having a dunk tank rented and you will be able to dunk us as well as everyone else at that event. And if people who don't know us, who do know us, people who love the show, who hate the show, will get to take turns dunking the Dan K Show. How fun will that be?
It'll be great. We'll try to get some special guests to jump in the dunk tank, jump on that ledge a little bit, see what we can do. I'll see if I can get Jim Hunt up there. That's going to be a tall order for Mr. Jim Hunt, but I'll see what I can do, and maybe some of his own players will get to dunk him, although I think there'll be a lot of misses if his own players have a chance to dunk him.
I will tell you, though, there's no shot we're losing. We never lose. Dan K Show never lost. Let's see what we do, though. We're going to break down how this will work. For you at home, go to our Twitter page at @the_Dan K Show, Facebook at @the_Dan K Show, or Instagram at @the_Dan K Show, and check out the link for this Google form. We are going to have in this Google form all of the opportunities to pick along with us. You will pick group play, and also you will pick one overall champion from both the Elite and Premier. The top five pickers, by the time we reach the semifinals, will receive a new Google form to pick the semifinals and finals against us. So if you make it in the top 5, you'll have one more chance. Not only will you make us go in a dunk tank, you will also win a nice little swag prize from the Dan K Show. You'll get some fun prizes and some fun stuff sent to you at home. So you'll have to play along. Lucas, let's talk about how this works for us. For the folks at home, they can pick anybody they want as an overall champion from the start. We had a little bit of a special draft here. So myself, Lucas, and producer Lena cannot pick the same overall champion in the Elite or the Premier. So we went in order of current standings. Lucas with 26 points leading the way. Myself picking second with 24 points, and producer Lena behind us here at 21 points. So Lucas went first. Lucas, should we tell our overall champions right away?
Well, Dan, I think what we should do is we should go through all of our pool play stuff first. You're seeing a graphic right now that shows you all of the pool options for the Elite and the Premier. So if you want to take a couple of seconds, go ahead and pause the video if you want. You can take a look at some of these picks, write them down so that when you get to our Google form, you know exactly who you're picking right away. So if you want, you can pause the video right now. But we are going to keep going with some Elite pool picks.
That's right, and that Google form will be foolproof for you, so no worries for you there at home. It'll make sure you pick correctly. It'll stop you from doing anything wrong, and you'll have some fun with it. Again, good luck trying to beat us. The Dan K Show doesn't lose. We go into the Elite first. So there's two groups. Elite Group A. You have the first place team from the Southeast, the Richmond Generals, the second seed from the Florida Division, the Florida Eels, the Jersey Hitmen from the Mid-Atlantic, and the Northern Cyclones, the second seed from the North. That's a tough, tough group right there. And you know, as FIFA does, FIFA always has a group of death. In both the Elite and Premier, Lucas and I picked our group of death. This is it. This is a group of death. I think there's some Grim Reapers in this group, man. I would hate to be in this one. You look at some of the favorites in this one. If you look at our Dan K Show power rankings, you've got the number 2 and number 3 overall teams in our last power rankings, the Generals and the Cyclones. And then you look at a team in the Hitmen sitting there who have upset this Cyclones team this year. They have already beat them head-to-head. This will be a very, very difficult division to come out of because the Eels are nothing to shake a stick at either.
No, I mean, it really, anybody could win. This is a toss-up division for a lot of different reasons.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of mix and match when it comes to teams succeeding or failing against other teams, and I mean, all these teams have just been so good. It's really tough to pick against them. But I think we should decide who gets out and who stays, who goes home.
You got to pick in an order here. So you got to pick first seed, you got to pick second seed. We will receive 1 point for each correct answer. That's 2 total. And then you can receive an extra 2 if they are picked in the correct order. So if you pick them in the wrong order, you can still get 2 points. But you get 4 if you pick them in the right order. So
little,
2 correct.
Little box and straight action for you.
Yeah, a little bit of that horse track action for you, for the folks. Get your blood flowing a little bit. You know, get it going. Get it going. The inner degenerate in all of us. But let's get this thing rolling here. Lucas, you start for this one. I'll do Group B first. You start Group A.
Okay, so for Group A, my Group A1 coming out of pool play is the just mentioned New Jersey Hitmen.
Wow, and this would be upset city if it did happen.
I think this division, because it's the group of death, is ripe for a team like the Hitmen to just kind of come in and just kind of knock everybody's socks off, right?
Yep.
I think what this Hitmen team has done, especially coming into the end of the season, somehow the Hitmen always find a way to kind of roll through their early season struggles to get success later on. And I think that's kind of where we're at right now.
Yep.
I think the Hitmen are going to survive Group A and come out on top.
That's a huge pick right there. To go at number 1, 2, not even saying this team sneaks in at the 2 spot, which I could easily see happening. To say the number 1, who do you got at number 2 there?
I got the Richmond Generals. So the Generals have impressed me all season. They have great systems work. They play the puck really well. They play end-to-end, side-to-side. They use all aspects of the ice. And the one thing I love about them is their ability to adapt.
Yeah.
Right? So they have a really, really phenomenal ability to read what another team is doing and adapt to fix it. I've seen them play well behind the net. I've seen them play well high to low. I've seen them play well up at the blue line, right? High pressure, being more conservative. I've seen them do it all. I think that gets them into the 2 spot.
I'll tell you, this group for me is just the battle for Dan K's soul here. So this is a situation where there are 2 teams in this division who I've waxed poetic on. If you go back and you watch the last 2 power ranking shows, I have said both times with the Monarchs at number 1 in our power rankings at the elite level, I have said both times I think the 2 title shot hopefuls are the Generals and the Cyclones. I think one of these 2 are going to win it. They've got to see each other in this first group play round. The Hitmen against the Eels, I think in their first game there, opening this whole tournament, the Eels might come into this thing with a little extra, a little pizzazz, a little razzle-dazzle here. This is a team coming off a high, coming off some big-time victories, coming off a great end to their season, a great postseason performance. They could give the Hitmen enough trouble to slow them down a bit. I will tell you, I got the Richmond Generals at number 1. I think the biggest matchup is going to be that first matchup there, that early morning battle between the Generals and the Cyclones. It could go either way, but I think Zach Boulay adds depth to scoring in this Richmond Generals team that the Cyclones may lack a little bit more as you go down the depth chart. They're more of a team that scores in the top, and they continue to grind you out in the 2 through 4. Then they score back at the top, they grind you out in the 2 through 4. They score at the top. I think Boulay slots some guys back for this Generals team where R.C. Like is going to really like his chances throughout the postseason, and he's going to have a good chance. I say they go number 1. The Cyclones, I had to put them at number 2. And I will tell you, Northern Cyclones, there is a lot of energy coming out of it, and I love it. I love the energy. Take this, man. Chip on your shoulder. Number 2 right now. My guys, I'm putting in number 2 in this group coming out. Why? It's going to be a tough immediate battle with the Generals. The biggest worry I have is they play later that day against the Jersey Hitmen, and it is going to be a hard-fought battle. The Hitmen are going to be coming off a tough fight with the Heels, and this is a Hitmen team that, if they get that win against the Heels, they're going to be a win away from clinching their way into the next round against that Cyclones team. You're going to be battling with everything they have. Everything they can fire at you, you will get. Cyclones have to survive this group. They have to survive it. I think they do. I think they go 2-1. They come out as a 2 seed. Producer Lena agrees with me. She goes Richmond Generals and Northern Cyclones. So again, Lucas, Jersey Hitmen is the number 1. Richmond Generals number 2. I have the Generals and Cyclones. So does producer Lena. We go to Group B, and I will start us off here. Number 1. They've been our number 1 in the power rankings every week. Every week. They have been nonstop our number 1. The New Hampshire Junior Monarchs. The work that this team has done, the struggles they've gone through, the fight they've given. Their last 4 games of the regular season, guess how many total goals they gave up between the 4 games?
4?
0 goals. They gave up no goals for 4 games to close this season. That's unbeatable. You can't beat
Quite
a team.
literally.
You can't beat a team who doesn't give up goals. There are ties in this, but you can't beat them if they don't give up goals. They're my number 1. Hampton Roads, that's my number 2. I look at the rest of this group. We look at Group B. I should have run through it for you guys. Group B, the Hampton Roads Whalers, the Tampa Bay Juniors, the New York Aviators, and the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs. Again, this could have easily been a group of death. This is an Aviators team coming off a huge upset of the New Jersey Rockets to get to the tournament. This is a Tampa Bay Juniors team coached by Garrett Strode out there. And Garrett Strode, I watched an interview with him today. These guys can pass the puck. Early in the year, they were having trouble with it, but if they can control and pass the puck, they can battle with any of these teams. Hampton Roads and Tampa Bay will be an absolute battle. But you want to know a man I don't pick against? I don't pick against my boy Brad Jones. I don't pick against Brad Jones. Who? Brad Jones. Who? Brad Jones. That's who I don't pick against. Go ahead. Who's you guys?
Well, who's
you guys? Who's you guys? From Joe Pesci.
So my number 1, it's got to be the New Hampshire Monarchs. I think, for all the reasons that I had them at, great goaltending, playing both sides of the puck, great systems work. They're able to, it seems like kind of tic-tac-toe their way through a defense, effortlessly. But what's on brand for Lucas Jones? On brand for Lucas Jones is defensive hockey, and I've said it before.
Yep, for the brand.
If you do it right, you only need to score 1 goal. Anything more than that is unnecessary.
Yeah.
And you tell me a stat like the New Hampshire Monarchs gave 0 goals in the last 4 games of the regular season. That's doing it right in Lucas Jones hockey for 4 games in a row, and I love that. Let me move to my second pick, which is going to annoy a few people. Potentially one person in particular.
Yeah.
And I told Dan, I said, look, I hate the fact that this is happening. I hate the fact that for whatever reason, I always come down to picking against the Hampton Roads Whalers. And I don't know why. I truly don't know why. Blame it on the fact that I'm a pure numbers guy. Blame it on the fact that I'm a what have you done for me lately kind of guy. Blame it on whatever you want. Or you can blame it on a team that I have fought tooth and nail, justifiably so, every week to be included in power rankings every single month. And they have always proven me right.
Yep.
Every time I fight to keep them in the power rankings, they prove me right by winning big games, going out there and beating big opponents and scoring goals in bunches behind great defense and great goaltending. I am going with the Tampa Bay Juniors for my second team to come out of Group B. I think that I think they got it. I think they got the special stuff. They got the right stuff. They're going to make it out of this group.
And you know what, Lucas? I'll agree with you, if only to wake up the boys of Hampton Roads. Because you know what? It was a target on these guys all year long at the Elite and Premier level. When you are the defending champions in the Premier and the Elite, you have to walk into every rink, you walk into every barn, knowing that you are going to get the best of every team you play. Whether it is the team at the bottom of the barrel or the team at the top of the mountain, you are going to deal with their very best. And the Tampa Bay Juniors are a team that when they are on, they are difficult to stop offensively, and they are difficult to skate with. They have speed, they have skill, they can play it on both ends. Like you said, they get the net minding. Coach Strope, man, this is a guy who brings Minnesota hockey to the Florida Heat. And this is a fun fun mix of that Midwest physicality with that Southeast style and flair. And I'll tell you, they have a shot. They have a chance. You cannot sleep on this team. Lucas has fought for this team all year long. He said they've been a top 5 elite team all year long. We will see. They will have a chance to put pen to paper here and write that story in the elite. Producer Lena has the Monarchs and the Juniors. So again, Group A in the elite, Lucas Jones with the Hitmen at number 1, Generals at 2. In Group B in the elite, he has the Monarchs 1, Juniors 2. He matches Producer Lena in the B division, Monarchs and Juniors. I match Producer Lena in the A, Generals and Cyclones. I also have the Monarchs and Whalers in the elite. Keep watching the premier picks coming up next.
The Dan K Show's coming to your town. The Dan K Show, covering everything USPHL from the NCDC, Premier and Elite. The Dan K Show, starring Dan K and Lucas Jones.
Welcome back, hockey fans. It is time for our premier picks. The Elite is in the bag. It's behind us. Again, stick around, Elite fans, because we will pick our overall champion before the tournament begins. That'll be worth 5 points. Again, 4 total points we can get from group play selections in the Elite, 5 points for picking a champion. Now we go to the premier. Each correct pick will be worth 2 points. We are picking only the winner of each group because that winner will be the one who moves to the semifinals. In the premier, there are 4 groups of 4. The winner of each group will move on to the semifinals. Again, it'll be 4 teams in the semifinals, 1 champion of each group. There are wins, there are losses. If you are tied at the end of regulation, you will play a 5-minute overtime period. If you're still tied, it will be a tie. You lose in overtime, you get the overtime loss. You win, you get a win. You lose in regulation, you get a loss. It's simple as that. It is simple. It is hockey. You will get to watch it with us on Hockey TV. Let's go to Premier Group A. Group A, the number 1 overall seed in the tourney, the Metro Jets. They'll be joined by the Connecticut Nighthawks, who upset them earlier this year. The Chicago Cougars of the Midwest East, who have been hot as a fox in a forest fire. And the Florida Junior Blades, who have surprised everyone and made a trip to Nationals.
Yeah, this is an interesting group for sure. It feels like 4 different teams, 4 completely different teams are getting thrown into the pit right now.
Yep.
You've got Metro, which is just such a big skilled team, the Nighthawks, which have hung in with a lot of teams this season and beaten a whole bunch of them too, and they play such tenacious hockey. The Cougars, who have been on a streak for what seems like months now, and the Florida Junior Blades, who, like you said, Dan, have been the plucky upstarts who surprised everyone. This is a pretty interesting group.
It really is going to be, and this is going to be one where you look at it, and whenever you look at a number 1 overall seed, you think to yourself, there's no way this team loses. There's no way a number 1 overall seed loses. But it's not often that you look at a number 1 overall seed, and there's a team in that division, in that group, that's already beat them. The Nighthawks have had by far the toughest showcase schedule of any team in USPHL hockey. They have had to play every top team, every trip they've ever made for a showcase, and I think that will really pay off for them. I think that will really help. I think this Metro Jets game is low scoring, it's close. The one thing that is the difference, the Nighthawks, when they won against this Jets team, they were not playing against Frederick Muirling. The goaltender, the netminder, the absolute Stonewall, General Stonewall Merling between the pipes. I've got the Jets winning Group A.
Yeah, I've got the Jets, I think for pretty much the same reason. I mean, you watch a guy like Muirling, and he blows you away. It's not just the big things, it's not just the saves, it's not just the way you control the game. It's the little things too. It's the positioning, right? Yep. Because of my recent job as an on-ice intermission reporter, I've gotten a chance to kind of, get down into the offensive and defensive zones of some of these teams before the period end, and you watch the way he positions himself.
Yep.
There's never a moment where he doesn't see the puck. Mm-hmm. It's like he's got X-ray vision. He can always see the puck wherever it is on the ice. I think that stones the Connecticut Nighthawks, and I go Metro Jets as well.
We both have the Jets. You look at the Cougars and the Blades, you're going to have a lot to say in this group, right? I think the Cougars are a tough matchup for the Nighthawks. The Nighthawks are a team that kind of take on the personality of who they play against. I think that Cougars game will be enough to kind of to throw this Nighthawks team off the case, but you know who doesn't think this Nighthawks team will have a problem in this group? Producer Lena. Producer Lena picks the Connecticut Nighthawks as her pick here in Group A. A big pick for the producer. Producing some big-time games here. How about Premier Group B? And Premier Group B is an interesting group because we all know how Lucas Jones feels about the Hampton Roads Whalers. He loves them.
They're a great team. Phenomenal team.
But he tends to pick against them. We will see if he does it again. The number 1 seed in this Group B, the Hampton Roads Whalers. The Hampton Roads Whalers are defending champions in the Premier, still leading the way. Connor Hunt, Brandon Osmondson, Mr. John Malkovich, the Monk Man, and the Wizard of Osmondson. Florida Eels, Pittsburgh Vengeance, and Syracuse Stars will play the role of the challengers for the Hampton Roads Whalers. I will tell you what, this will be the ping pong bracket, I will call it. The the bumper pool bracket.
Yep.
Because this is you're gonna be running into some physical teams if you're the Hampton Roads Whalers. If you think you're gonna get out of this group, this Florida Eels team can play on open ice. They can play. The one thing with this Whalers team, they have the worst order these games could possibly go in. If you ask me, they're gonna play the Stars in Game 1. That Syracuse Stars team can be the Jekyll and Hyde of the world, right? They can be top of the mountain, bottom of the barrel. They can play really physical. They can get nifty against you and score from all over the ice. You never know what you're going to get from the Syracuse Stars team. They have a netminder that stops 63-64 to get them to this tournament in a triple OT thriller against the Springfield Picks. Then you look at the Pittsburgh Vengeance, and this team is modeled after Lucas Jones hockey. This is the Lucas Jones hockey mentality 101. These guys do everything Lucas loves. You got to play those guys at 9 o'clock at night after you played an early game against the Stars. Then you got to wake up the next morning and play an Eels team that, unlike the Vengeance and Stars, who are defense first physicality, the Eels are going to want to open the ice, blue line to blue line, 2-line passes, getting this thing out of the zone, moving it in transition. It's going to be very, very difficult road for this Hampton Roads Whalers team. Lucas, who do you have in Group B?
Well, this is a tough one, right? So we know how good the Eels are, but I think that traveling might hurt them a little bit. It's a long trip for them. The Eels team has been great, especially sort of down the stretch as well. They've come into the playoffs with a lot of momentum. The thing that worries me is they're a little shaky on the defensive side of the ice.
Yep.
Especially for, you want to see a little bit lower of a goals against average. I know their differential is high in the regular season, but you want to see a little bit less of the goals against. Right now they gave 127 goals, and especially against a team like, say, Hampton Roads.
Yep.
They will just exploit that day in and day out. You talk about the Syracuse Stars, single-handedly the most physical team I've ever seen in the USPHL. They'll run you, they don't just run you into the wall or through the wall, they'll run you through the boards, through the wall, into the parking lot, and then they'll run you all the way back home. So, I mean, that's a team that's going to bruise you, and I think that's been the difference maker. So you talked about the Hampton Roads schedule. They play that Syracuse Stars team first.
Yep.
And they play them at 11:10 a.m. And Hampton Roads is traveling as well. You can't forget that. That's a long trip.
They do got a beautiful double-decker bus.
They have a beautiful double-decker bus, but that's a 10, 11-hour trip in that double-decker bus. They play the Syracuse Stars first. Then they got to play Lucas Jones hockey at 9:10 p.m. that same night.
Good luck.
And I think the difference between the Vengeance and the Whalers, I think the Whalers have a slight edge, but I think the Whalers' schedule is going to wear them out. And I think playing the Stars first will wear them out too much, so that when they play the Vengeance will win. And that's why I think the Vengeance are going to come out of this group as the top team.
Huge upset alert. Let the sirens go, fellas and ladies at home watching with us here. Ladies and gentlemen, Lucas Jones shocks the world and says the premier and elite defending national champs do not get out at either level. Neither level do they leave group play. He's picked against Hampton Roads and boom.
And the thing is I love here's what goes to show you is I love this Hampton Roads team. I love the way that they are so seamless in the way that they play hockey, right? It feels like one brain is controlling the whole team when they're out there. The owners take care of their players, which you love to see. You love to see an organization that really cares about the game, takes care of the players, makes sure they got the best of the best, right? The gorgeous facility, gorgeous bus and transportation. All these guys are taken care of. They have special suites for the parents who come to watch these games. and you love to see all of that. But at the end of the day, what happens on the ice is the difference maker. And I think that with all the things that I mentioned, I think the Vengeance have the upper hand.
I look at this group and I say there's going to be one of two things that happen. The Hampton Roads Whalers are going to survive this group and make it through. Or a team like the Eels, a team like the Vengeance, a team like the Stars are going to exploit the Whalers at a weak point and find a way to beat each other. This division's going to beat up on each other, though, I think enough where even if the Whalers drop a game to the Vengeance, I don't see the Vengeance walking out of this thing absolutely unscathed. I think no matter what, I think the Whalers find a way out. I've got the Hampton Roads Whalers, the Premier and Elite both getting through. I think this Whalers team at this Premier level right now, I don't think it's been the year they wanted each and every minute of it, but you look at the totals, you look at the wins, they're still there. And a down year for the Hampton Roads Whalers is an up year for any team in the game of hockey. And this Osmondson-Monkovich grouping, if they continue, I watched them slide Monkovich down the third forward line. If they continue to do that, if they continue to put Monkovich down at that third forward line, that's where I think the difference is. If you get that third line scoring, we talk about it every broadcast this time of year, you get that third line scoring, the game absolutely changes. Watch out for the Whalers. I've got the Whalers. Producer Lena agrees with Dan K. She's got the Whalers as well. Let's go to Group C. Talk about our group of deaths, right? This is our group of death, and you want to talk about Grim Reapers, man, there's 4 of them in this group. I would not be surprised if any of these 4 teams not only won the group, but won a national title. I think every team in this group is a national title contender just absolutely throughout. Group C. The top seed in this group, the New York Aviators, who I remind you the stakes at home, if they win, as my voice cracks in fear, if they win, Dan K will need a tattoo of the Aviators somewhere on his body. His choice. His choice where? A lot riding on that for me.
You almost bet that away the first time you made that bet. You almost let them pick where they put it.
I should have just made the bet up front. I could have done the Aviator tattoo for the Skipjack sweep. The Skipjacks did sweep them. I was right on that, but I didn't trust myself, so I said national championship, and now here we are. Now we're here. Now it's a 1 in 16 chance that an Aviator tattoo is going on my body. That's all right. It can't get any worse. We're going on to Charlotte Rush. The Charlotte Rush will also be in Group C, along with the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs, who might just be the hottest team in junior hockey right now. A 4 seed in the New England division that just went into town and beat Tim Kirkostas and his IHC team. An IHC team that took the Metro Jets to OT, took every top team, either had a win against them or a close game with them. This IHC team has competed with everybody. And then they waltz in the Hudson, New Hampshire, and upset the Northern Cyclones, who were going to possibly be my title pick for the Premier, and they end their season. So the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs, and then finally the Minnesota Bluehawks, who come from a Midwest West that was an absolute roulette wheel all season long. Every time we put a team in the top 10, they wound up getting beat. The Bluehawks are the only team in the Midwest West top 6 that was only in our Premier Power Rankings once. And it happened at the very, very beginning, and they never made their way back in again. So this Bluehawks team, of course, make it to the Nationals.
Yeah, and that's been the story, right? The Midwest has just been it feels like a dice roll and a coin flip, all rolled into one sometimes. But it just goes to show you how much parity there is out there in the Midwest.
That's exactly right. And again, we remind you, we're going to have more in depth on each of these teams. Obviously, in this show, we can only do so much. We don't want to keep you here all night long. But we will have more in depth on these teams on live videos Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all weekend long. We'll be doing live videos on Instagram, mostly Instagram, but we'll also do Twitter and Facebook depending on how well the internet wants to work. Instagram works everywhere though, so we always love Instagram. So remember to follow us at _DNK Show on Instagram for that. Lucas, I'll start with this one. I looked at this group, and I'm telling you right now, I'm honest with you, I think every team in this group can win. The first battle, Bluehawks versus Aviators, starts this group off. I think the Aviators win that one against the Bluehawks. I think they're 1-0. I think the Bluehawks are 0-1. I think that the Bluehawks, if they can keep this a 2-0 game, they can win it. But I don't think anybody in the world can hold the New York Aviators to 0 or 1 goals. I think everybody in the world is going to go up 3 or 4 against the Aviators. I don't see the Bluehawks skating with them that way. I think the Aviators win the first one. Rush Monarchs? I think the Rush find a way. I think the Rush cool off this Monarchs team. And I think the Rush are my squad that comes out, because I think those first games will be what absolutely decide this division. The first games will be it. The Rush, I think, beat the Monarchs. The Aviators beat the Blue Ox. And then I think it comes down to Aviators v. Rush. And I think the Rush would take that one. I think the Rush take this group.
I think the Rush are a great team. For some reason, Dan, I don't think they make it out of this division. I think they've got all the makings of a team that doesn't make it out of this division, or that should make it out of this division, or this pool. But I don't think they will. I think the problem here is that you've got such a physical team in the Minnesota Blue Ox, such an overall team in the New Hampshire Monarchs, and then you got the Aviators who play the exact same game as the Rush, right? So I don't think the Rush necessarily are going to be, because we talked about how you might need to be undefeated just to even make it out. And I think the Rush are not going to be able to be undefeated again. You've got the travel component in there. You've got some weird scheduling, some early morning, late night games. Here's why I was going to pick the Aviators.
Okay.
And then here's why I don't pick the Aviators. I don't pick the Aviators because the two teams that I don't think they want to play are the teams they play first.
Blue Ox and Monarchs.
They play the Blue Ox at 8:15 in the morning.
Yep.
Now, I do think they beat the Blue Ox, but I think they're going to have to run through a wall to do it. The Blue Ox are a big team, they're a physical team, and they're a team that scores. And they're a team that upsets big teams. They've done it all season.
And remember, we picked against the Blue Ox twice. We have picked against the Blue Ox in both rounds of the postseason.
And here they are.
And here they are. We didn't put them in our power rankings. Didn't put the Blue Ox in our power rankings. They said, we don't care. We didn't put them against. We didn't pick them against the Rum River Mallards. Every one of us, all three of us, picked the Rum River Mallards. They beat the Mallards. All three of us picked the Wisconsin Rapids River Kings, and they said, "Don't care. We'll beat them too." They have beat everybody we said they wouldn't. So now that we didn't pick them, they'll probably win this group.
Yeah, and then after they play the Blue Ox, they got to come back like 8 hours later and play the Monarchs.
Yep.
They're so adaptable. That's the thing. The Monarchs, if you're going to push forward, sure, we can skate around you, right? If you want to back off that high pressure, okay, we're going to dump and chase and get into your zone. I think the team that the Aviators match up really well with is the Charlotte Rush, because they both play similar styles of hockey. But I think after you run through basically the washing machine on these two teams, I think the Aviators don't have a ton left in the tank. So I'm actually going with the Monarchs on this one. I'm going Monarchs
I like that pick.
in both Elite and Premier. I think this squad, this franchise, this organization is locked and loaded this year for Nationals.
I love the pick, man. I do love it. The Aviator fans at home are not going to love it, but Dan's body with the whole tattoo thing is going to love that pick.
Make no mistake, I want you to get the tattoo.
Yeah, of course.
I am a
Everyone
huge
at home is
proponent
rooting for
of
it as
the
well.
tattoo.
Anybody who doesn't have a horse in the race has to be rooting for the Aviators at this point. Charlotte Rush, producer Lana picks them. I picked the Rush. Lucas with the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs. This is a Monarchs team. We received a few tweets, and they said, what were the 5 keys to the Monarchs making it to the Nationals? Teamwork, 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 and teamwork. And I loved that tweet. One of my favorite tweets I've seen all year. Now we go to the surprise round here. Lucas has not written down his pick. We have everything else scripted. He does not have a pick written down here, so I will be surprised by this one. And it is Premier Group D. If anything else is going to be a group of death in this, it would have been Group D. This is going to be a fun one. There are a lot of teams that play the same style, who are all going to play against mirror images of themselves, and it's just going to be who wants it more. This is going to be a who wants it more group. Out of any of the groups, this is an absolute who wants it more. Every team in this group, I would not be surprised if any of these teams get a win against the other one. Who wants it more, man? Group D, top seed, and it's going to be the Boston Bandits. They'll be followed up by the Minnesota Moose. Antlers up, everybody at home. Then the Jersey Hitmen, who upset the Skipjacks Hockey Club to get here, and the Motor City Hockey Club, who scraped and clawed their way against the Midwest Blackbirds and made themselves some Blackbird pie, as they said on Instagram, after getting those 2 wins. It was a nice little win for them.
A little scary.
Little scary.
It is scary.
I don't think Blackbird pie would taste very good.
I mean, I don't know. Birds, they're all taste the same.
I don't think so. I don't think they'd be very tasty. I wouldn't want any of it. But I'm excited to see Motor City play in postseason here. Postseason play, Group D. Lucas, you got the surprise pick. Start us off.
Oh boy. It's not a surprise for the folks at home.
Oh,
it's because I literally haven't been able to pick in Group D. I have been so torn in Group D. You've got the Bandits, who I've supported just all season long. They're such a fun team to watch play hockey. I mean, they really do it all, and they play in such a tough New England division too. You've got the South Shore Kings, you've got the Northern Cyclones, you've got the Monarchs, IHC, the Twin City Thunder, who loved all season to play spoiler. They've got guys like Hunter Fortin, Clayton Daw, Kevin Drevich, Owen Gallagher, just
Vlad Pavlov.
Vlad Pavlov
who
as
answers
well.
the bell every day.
Every time. I mean, they know how to play defense, and they play it so well.
It's a rough style.
But I have to say something for the Minnesota Moose as well, who have been the other team. And it's basically Moose or Bandits. Moose or Bandits. The problem is, the Moose haven't really played anyone outside the division since, what, November?
Yeah.
So I have the man who is the stat guy has no stats. Where are my stats, guys? I have nothing to pull from. So I have to pick with my heart, which is not something I'm used to doing.
It's difficult to do.
It's difficult. I don't know how you do it all the time. I'm gonna go Moose.
That's it. Blind ambition. Blind ambition.
I'm gonna go Moose on this one, and I'll tell you why. The Moose can do it all. They've got Jensen, Krupp, and Harding, my law firm line of those guys.
They're great.
And those are the 4th, 5th, and 6th scorers. You got Peterson, DeSava, and Bergstrom, and the goaltending has just been so good all season too. I mean, these are, or I should say, this is a team that kind of goes off the back of its goaltender. Hasselbacher, 1.99 goals against, .92 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Not afraid to get mixed up, not afraid to get into it. I think they've got the edge here. My heart tells me Moose, and I gotta go Moose on this one.
I love the pick, man. And you look at that Moose team, and that guy there, that Jake Peterson, that's a big time late ad for them. That's a big time late defenseman ad of Jake Peterson. A year 98 for them there. This guy's played 11 games. He's got 7 goals, 10 assists. He's a big time shot maker, big time playmaker from the defensive position. When you can get scoring from the blue line, man, it's so important. It plays a big role.
5 points in the playoffs. Just in the playoffs, that's incredible.
Exactly right. But what I look at when I look at this division is, I mean, who can I trust? This is a Hitmen team. You always trust the brand, right? We always do it for the brand. They do it for the brand. A Motor City Hockey Club team who you can trust. They're going to be physical. They're going to slow the game down. They're going to play it at their tempo, their pace. And you're going to play Jason McCrimmon hockey, man. You're going to have to battle to get out of that rink. Then you look at Minnesota Moose, man. The Moose, antlers up all year long. They have been hot of late. They are possibly the hottest team in the game of hockey right now. Winning in bunches, not even being scathed, not even close on their way to this tournament, man. They've been just dominant on their way here. Then you look at the Bandits, and this is a team that, towards the end of the year, you look at the schedule, none of it makes sense. None of it makes sense when you look at this team. The ups, the downs, the end of the year, they looked like they were slumping. They couldn't beat anybody. Then next thing you know, they thumped the Nighthawks, who I love that Nighthawks team. I love that Nighthawks team. Love them. I hope they prove me wrong, and I hope they win a title with Austin Marini in that area. But I look at this, and the team out of all of these that has been, I look at who's most battle-tested. And the most battle-tested team is the team coming out of what I think was the toughest division this year, top to bottom in the Premier, the New England division. I've got the Boston Bandits stealing Group D, stealing it, because I think there could be 3 teams at 2-1 at the end of this one. I think there's 3 teams at 2-1, and it is going to come down to some tiebreakers, and we will have those for you on the broadcast as we get closer. Bandits for me, Bandits for Producer Lane and Moose. So again, running through the group picks for the Premier, Group A, Lucas and myself have the Metro Jets, Producer Lane with Connecticut Nighthawks. Group B, Vengeance for Lucas Jones, Pittsburgh Vengeance over all comers there. Producer Lena and Dan K, Hampton Roads Whalers. In Group C, Dan K, Producer Lena again agreeing. Charlotte Rush and all Southeast picks for us there in the B and C groups. New Hampshire Monarchs for Lucas. In Group D, the Moose for Lucas, Antlers up. Boston Bandits for Producer Lena and Dan. So Producer Lena and Dan agree 3 times here. A lot of agreements. There can be some movements made. Either Lucas is going to be absolutely gone and win this thing by 1,000,000.
Or I'm going to be dead in the water.
Or you're going to be dead in the water and we're going to be past you. We'll see how this one goes. We're going to be back. Instead of an empty net, we're going to do our overall champion draft, where each of us will have to pick a different champion, 1 each from the Elite, 1 each from the Premier. That'll be worth 5 points. That could be an absolute game changer. You'll get to do that at home as well on your Google form, and then we'll close out the show.
You are watching The Dan K Show. Everything USPHL. From the NCDC to the Premier and Elite Leagues. The Dan K Show with Dan K and Lucas Jones.
All right, instead of an empty net this week, we are going to have our overall selection. So these are champions we are picking today. If they win the title, and we pick them before any games are played, we will get 5 extra points onto our picks. At home on our Google form, like I said, you will have a chance to pick this as well. You don't have the same rules we have. You can pick anyone you want from all 8 teams in the Elite, all 16 in the Premier. For us, we cannot duplicate. That would not be fun. We wouldn't want to have to break ties. So we went in order of standings. Lucas is in first place currently with 26 points. Dan K, second place, a comfortable second place, 24 points, just 2 away. Producer Lana, 21 points, an unhappy 21 points. She says to all teams she has picked, step it up, let's go. That is a quote from Producer Lana. She wants you guys to win. If she picks you, you should win, is her thought. Okay, Lucas, you can pick from the Elite or Premier. First pick in the draft, who wins a championship?
I'm going to the Elite first.
Okay.
New Hampshire Monarchs.
Ooh, great
I've already
pick.
talked and waxed poetic about this team, but I think the New Hampshire Monarchs in the Elite have a really, really good chance to go all the way in that Elite division. I think the Elite is where some of the great matchups are, is where the real question could be. You know, the Premier is obviously difficult in the the Elite. You get 2 guys out of each pool, but
Yeah.
I think that the Elite's going to be really good. I think the Monarchs are going to win it.
It's a great pick. That's the #1 team in the Elite power rankings for the Dan K Show. So the Dan K Show will be completely right with their power rankings if that comes to fruition, and we will be proven yet again to be smarter than computers. Always, always smarter than computers. Everybody cares about our power rankings. They put a lot of effort into it. Okay. We go to pick number 2. Dan K had pick number 2. Do I go with an Elite team? Do I go with my Generals or my Northern Cyclones? I feel very safe knowing that both of my championship picks in the Elite are still there. So I will make my job easier. I will go to the Premier, and I will take a team that Lucas Jones doesn't even think will make it out of group play. I will take a team that I will never allow Lucas Jones to pick again for as long as this show exists. I will go to a team that made Lucas Jones eat a hot Pocky chip last year because I got a little insider info from Brad Jones who said the boys are ready to raise a cup. I've got Coach Taylor. I've got the Hampton Roads Whalers. At the Premier, I think they survive their group. Again, I said they got to survive the group they're in. But if they survive it, I think they play a battle-tested Metro Jets team, a team they lost to, and I think it's really tough to beat a good team twice in the same year. We will see. I got the Hampton Roads Whalers. Let's move to number 3. Producer Lena with the 3rd pick in the Elite takes the Richmond Generals. She likes RC Light there and his team, likes the squad, and I think she was sold on it. We got a chance to go down for the Holiday Follow Challenge, and I think this is a reward from Producer Lena for the Holiday Follow Challenge, and also great organization. This Generals team in at the Elite. They could be the best team down there. It will be fun. Lucas, take number 4.
Well, now I go to the Premier. I've already picked the Elite. My heart tells me something, but Dan, I don't know if my heart
telling me yes.
I don't know if my heart can take more than one pick in a season. My brain is telling me Jets.
Metro Jets.
Go with Metro Jets. I
think
think they're just so well rounded, and you know what? They're well rounded because you can have a well rounded team that's a little undersized.
Yep.
Then you can have a well rounded team that's got some size and strength and speed. I think the Metro Jets have the ability to take this one all the way.
I will tell you what. I am the #1 advocate with the next pick here. Just to let you know, 5th pick in the draft here. I have to pick an Elite team. I'm the #1 advocate for if you want to beat a man, you got to beat the man. And I said that in the Premier. You want to beat the man, you got to beat the man. Hampton Roads Whalers raised that cup last year. They've got a banner to prove it. And I think they do it again at the Premier. The Elite. For me, another champion would be either the Hampton Roads Whalers or the Northern Cyclones. I have talked about the Cyclones team to the point where Lucas has said, just shut up. I've talked about this team all year. Matt Irwin, Danny Woods, and Keenan Waters might be the top forward line anywhere in this country right now for any level compared to the competition they're playing against. These guys are good. They are deep. You got a D3 commit in Matt Irwin playing the centerman position. Huge futures for these boys. They've got a great season ahead of them, a great career in hockey still ahead of them, and already so much in the past here. The one worry I have about the Hampton Roads Whalers is a team that Lucas picked to beat them, the Tampa Bay Juniors. I think this Juniors team is better than most people think coming into this. They're going to sneak up on folks and beat up on them. I've got the Northern Cyclones as my 2nd pick for a national champion here. So the Elite, I've got the Cyclones. Hampton Roads Whalers in the Premier, Lucas Metro Jets in the Premier, New Hampshire Monarchs in the Elite, producer Lana Richmond Generals in the Elite. And she didn't even pick this team in Group C. So she doesn't think this team will win Group C, but apparently we didn't make any rules here at the Dan K Show. So she thinks she can just go off script, and she picks New York Aviators plus tattoo. That is her pick. She picks the Aviators in the Premier to win the national title and force this man to put a tattoo on his body of the Aviator logo. I will be getting that tattoo if they win. There's a 1 in 16 chance that I will be getting that tattoo, and that chance may become 1 in 4 if they win their
That's
group.
the best
and
part about
that is
this.
where I will be sweating like a pig.
Because it's not like a standard bracket where it's like 1 in 64, then 1 in 32.
No.
This is 1 in 16, and then immediately 1 in 4.
1 in 4. Coin toss after that. Then it's 1 in 2. Then I'm at the national championship. And you know what? I'm not going to root against these guys, man. I'm a man of my word. I've told you that before, folks. If you ask me, you make a wager with me, we make a friendly bet, man, I'm never going to be the guy that goes, no, I wasn't going to do it. I will do it. I will live up to whatever wagers I make, man. We love the interaction we get from all the teams, especially the Aviators. What a group. What a job they do there. Producer Lana picks the New York Aviators and the Aviators tattoo that I would need to get. So that does it for our picks. Now it's your job to pick at home. Again, the Google Form's available on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at @the_Dan K Show. Please follow us on all three, as long as you have pages for all three. Please follow us on whatever you have so you can follow along for our comprehensive coverage of the national championships. We will be absolutely hoarse and voiceless by the end of this thing. Dan K and Lucas Jones will be on Hockey TV. Lucas, I think we can run through our schedule here. While I do that, why don't you give some beautiful words for the folks at home? You got to give them something. I don't have enough time to look for the schedule. This is not good. You're gonna give me no time to look for the schedule. Fine, I will do the schedule myself. I tried to get him to do parting words. On Saturday we will have a 4 broadcast day. We'll be together on all 4 of these broadcasts on Hockey TV. Premier, 11 a.m. Eastern, we'll have the Florida Eels taking on the Pittsburgh Vengeance. Following that, immediately after, a nice little double dip, we'll have the Connecticut Nighthawks taking on the Chicago Cougars. Go Cougs! Go Hawks! Caw-caw! We'll have a nice battle there. In the Elite at night, we'll have a 2-hour break. 2-hour break there. 6:30, we'll have an Elite matchup between the Richmond Generals and the Florida Eels. And then finally, we'll close out the broadcast day, a 4-game broadcast day on Saturday. Dan K will be screaming into the void as the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs take on the Tampa Bay Juniors at 8:45. Let's go to Sunday. Sunday, we will be split up a bit. I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you. He didn't say anything because he'd be counting as parting words. 10:45 a.m., Lucas alone. 10:45 a.m. on Hockey TV, I'll have the Northern Cyclones, Dan teams of the Elite. That's my team. Those are my boys. You got my boys. Taking on the Florida Eels. Then, at 11, because we have to keep Lucas away from this team, Dan K will have the Elite matchup of the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs and the Hampton Roads Whalers. That's an 11 a.m. Eastern start, and that could be for all the marbles in that group there. That could be for a number 1 seed. Later on in the day, Lucas, a double dip for him, on his own, will have the Premier 1:15 p.m. Eastern start of the New York Aviators and the Charlotte Rush. You're going to be in for a treat there. That'll be a 96-goal game. Premier 1:30 p.m. Eastern, my double dip, will be the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs and the Minnesota Blue Hawks. I will have the Monarchs and Blue Hawks coverage, and that could be, as we've talked about, that could be a really, really good one. Later on in the day, it'll be a triple dip, triple header, 3 games in a row for us. This time we'll be back together for a premier matchup between the Hampton Roads Whalers and Florida Eels. I'll then be jumping in a car halfway through that game, driving over to Gallant Arena for the Elite Semifinals first game, which is a 7:30 start. We'll eventually be reunited on that broadcast, and that'll do it for our Sunday broadcast schedule. On Monday, we will be together on the Elite Championship game. We'll have the title game. It's 11 a.m. Eastern start. We'll do a 10 a.m. Eastern live broadcast from Essex Center, their Essex Sports Center. We'll do a Elite pregame show. We'll have the premier semifinal game 1 at 1:15. And finally, our final broadcast will be on Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, as we'll have the premier championship game. It'll be Lucas and Dan K on the broadcast. When Dan K's on the mic, it's always Hockey Night. If you couldn't follow along with all that, we'll have it posted on all of our social media pages coming up soon here. Remember to keep watching. Remember to stay tuned with us all weekend long from Natty's. Raise that cup, boys. It's cup chasing season. That was a long episode.
Yeah.
I'm losing my voice now from an episode.
That's not good.
Nonetheless, doing hockey.
Yeah. I'm going to have to brush up on my play-by-play.
You're going to have to do a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
We have
gonna
to
a lot of play-by-play.
a second microphone.
Second
More hats.
microphone.
How many hats are we going to have to bring?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 hats.
Yikes.
Not in the budget, but we'll
Yeah.
figure it out. Hats coming at you.